Good morning, boys and girls of the internet. Today is Thursday, June 21st, 2018. Vlog number 171. And in vein of Thursday, I've decided, as you can see, we're going to have some more God of War gameplay here. Might as well, because God of War is a pretty game, and it's a lot prettier than my ugly mug. One of the things I did want to kind of talk about, and it's something that I know I've discussed it with some of my friends extensively. Just kind of, it's a pretty deep thought that there's no real. It's hard to know the answer to it because we're not experts by any stretch of the imagination. And when I was thinking about this subject, I looked at my past videos. I'm like, wait, did I mention this before in the past? And I could have sworn that I did, but I couldn't find any. So if I did talk about this before, I apologize. But I'm pretty sure maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. But it's about universal basic income, or the whole concept of universal basic income. The premise is that as a citizen of a country, you just get paid for being a citizen. That's a very basic, very basic idea behind it. There's a lot more to it than that. Way more. It's an extremely complicated thing. But, and of course there's a lot of good sides and a lot of bad sides. And the reason why I'm talking about this today is because last night I was listening to a Sam Harris podcast. I love Sam Harris. And he was speaking with a person who was a very strong advocate of universal basic income. In fact, he's so strong, I wish I'd remember what his name was. He's so strong in advocating for it that not only is he promoting it very strongly, but he's also putting in his bid for the President of the United States for the 2020 run. And that's going to be his key platform that he's going to run on. It's pretty amazing. So let's discuss a little more of what UBI, as I'll refer to it, UBI, whatever you want to call it. UBI, in a nutshell, it's, in my mind, again, I'm no expert, so I could be completely wrong here, but in my mind, it's kind of something that's inevitable in our society, the way it's going. Because, just like way back in the day, turn of the century of, going from 19th to the 20th century, we've had the Industrial Revolution. Because of industry, a lot of people who did like menial tasks, that machinery kind of took over, and a lot of jobs got eliminated. A lot of people were out of work, and they were very much against it. Today, we have something very similar going on in terms of increased automation. Now, automation itself is nothing new. We've had assembly lines, we've had robots for decades, we've had things going, but now it's really starting to increase at a rapid rate. And like before, when certain things happen, like say, there's a best example when you look at like robots building cars. That's like the easiest thing you can imagine, because it's been going on for a long time. It's been going on for decades. It's been having robots build cars since the 70s, 80s, even. It's something that not only increases efficiency, it also makes it cheaper for the manufacturer to produce cars that way. In turn, keeps our prices lower for these cars, because you don't have to worry about not only producing less cars, which means you're basically making more cars per volume, which means you could sell more cars for cheaper. Also, there's factors of human safety. If there's a line of robots making cars, hey, there's not a line of humans with their hands in those cars potentially getting crushed or getting injured. So that saves a lot of people in safety. Now, of course, the flip side to that is those people who are not making those cars now, that robots are doing, they're out of a job. Well, I mean, assembly lines, and for a lot of car companies, there's still a shitload of employees working, doing those jobs that are only humans can do. Flip it over again, there are jobs that only machines can do. That takes, ultra precision and repetitiveness. If you have to make something that's extremely precise over and over and over again, 1,000 times over every day, machines are the best suited for that. That's, indisputable. If you want to handcraft something to be handcrafted and pay more for that, go ahead. Have a human do it. Now, today, though, we're having an increase of automation trickle down to lower paying careers and jobs and tasks, mainly because the technology is cheaper and the technology is better. For example, go down to the minimum wage type jobs, the burger flippers. Sure, I don't think there's a robot flipping a burger right now. There might be, I don't know. But you can actually go into McDonald's right now. Not all McDonald's, just like a few. And instead of a cashier being there, there's a screen. And you touch the screen. And that's a form of automation. That's replacing a cashier. And you order through through that, and you don't have to worry about talking to a person who punches the screen for you. Now, I've actually seen this myself in like a what was it? I think it was like Jack in the Box. It was a couple of years ago. Now they still had cashiers if you want to use them, but they've had the screens there too for convenience sake. So if you got, a franchise of thousands and thousands of locations across the country, if you have a staff of people who maybe 20% of them are the cashiers, and you just all, get the computer screen that's already in the room, already in the building, flip it around, make it bigger, and have customers use it, and you don't have to pay 20% of your staff. That makes a smart business decision. Where does this all lead to in terms of universal basic income, UBI? Well, as more and more jobs of ours become automated and we get replaced by robots and computers, what are we gonna do? Seriously, we're gonna, especially for, say if Chevy decides to have every single one of their cars built 100% by robots. An employee at a Chevy factory probably makes good money, but his job is gone. What is he gonna do? An employee at McDonald's makes shit for money. If his job gets, replaced, what is he going to do? Not much. Go find another shitty job. But if there's no shitty jobs, if all our menial jobs, if every single one of our things that a computer and a robot can do, that a human cannot do, if they're all robotic and automated, you're going to talk about tens of millions of people out of work. Now, the concept behind a basic income given to you by the state is that there is no jobs for you, but here's money to kind of so you don't have to worry about money, and you could pursue whatever the hell you want to. That's boiling it down very simply. There's a lot more to it than that. But for the most part, in a few experiments that there's an actual county in California, I believe, that is actually experimenting with that right now. They haven't implemented it yet, but they're in the planning stages of it, that they're going to start giving a select number of their citizens like $500 a month or something like that. I forget the amount. Just kind of as an experiment to see how it goes. And the idea with that behind that is, especially for low and middle income people, when they have more money in their pockets, they don't have to worry about taking from programs such as like food stamps and other help programs like that. So more people that's not on those programs can maybe take advantage of them. But also, I stated this before. People in like low and middle income, they're spending more than they earn, and not just spending frivolously. Sometimes their kids get sick, or they have to buy an extra thing of diapers, and they just don't have the money for it. They put it on credit cards, or something else unexpected happens, or they're just barely living within their means. The rent goes up, and it's just so many things that factor into that. People are spending like 110, 120% of what they make. If you give them an extra $500 a month, they'll only, of that increase that adds their income. So now they can spend like 80% of what they make, and they have more pocket money, either for saving or putting back into the economy. That's probably the best reason for it. Is more money that middle class people have, they will spend it. They might save some of it if they're smart, but most of the time they will spend it. And that does wonders for everybody. Because rich people, yeah, they spend their money, but they spend their money on rich people things. They go shop at high-end clothing stores. They buy expensive cars. They buy, yachts. They, buy planes and stuff. That's really rich people. Normal, low-class, middle-class people, they go to Walmart. They go to Chick-fil-A. They go to their used car salesman down the street. They put their money into their local economy. They go to the mom and pop shop. And everybody just does better. That's just by giving people more money. And that could also be an argument for increasing minimum wage. Because wages across the board have been stagnant while inflation has increased. That's a whole different discussion, but again, more people have more money, we'll put it back in the economy, and everybody does better. I give people an UBI. Some people might just like, oh, yay, I got free money, and they'll sit on their ass and play video games or watch movies or smoke weed. That's some people. But what if you had some kind of requirement in order to get the UBI, such as an incentive that in order to receive your UBI, you have to kind of pursue things, or you have to, I don't know, take like certain online learning courses just to better yourself. Not just maybe there'll be like a program like just to kind of learn things and produce smarter people, or maybe you have to like volunteer in your community and help out things, and that gets reflected into your UBI like payments or something, or maybe you have to kind of show that you're maybe putting the money into like a small business. You're planning on, or you open up a small business, things like that, and all that. It's all benefit in terms of beneficial to the local economy. Again, the downsides is the people who just take advantage, and that hurts everybody. That no matter where you, whenever you give people stuff for free, there's always going to be people going to take advantage of it, and that's why you have to kind of have some kind of strings attached to it. That's the only unfortunate thing. Again, I'm no expert in the subject, but I do think it's going to be a necessity. It's going to be something we're going to have to explore as time goes on, as automation expands into more and more menial jobs and more things that going to put people out on, give them the pink slips, and people won't be able to do a normal job because a robot is doing it. Maybe that'll allow people to pursue things that they might not have been able to before because they have to go to work, like pursue something that they're good at in terms of like creativity, like art or music, photography, things like that. They're going to write a book because they have more. They don't have to worry about work. They have more free time. That's if you're motivated. And also, if you have more money in your pocket, maybe also the UBI can also help people who have maybe they have a full-time job now, but maybe they can move down to a part-time job, and that will give them more time. And also, if they move to a part-time job, that job itself needs to have more people to cover all the shifts. So you might be able to get more employees to work certain jobs because they're getting a universal basic income, and they don't have to work as many hours as they do. So they have more time to themselves. There'll be more people employed for the time until all those jobs would get taken over by robots. But there's a lot of benefits to it, and so I kind of dig the idea. But again, I need to look into it more, and as more information comes out, as economists look at it, as futurists look at it, you got to look at it in terms of society, in terms of the benefits versus costs versus downsides. And it's not an easy thing, but it's going to have to happen sooner or later. We're going to have to explore it in some form or another. So that's my thoughts on universal basic income. I do recommend to look up Sam Harris's video. It was just his Waking Up podcast. I will leave a link down in the description. And I believe another YouTube site talked about it before. Maybe that's where maybe that's where I talked about it in my vlogs. I don't know. But definitely look into it. It's very interesting. Tell me what you think. I'll talk to y'all later. Everybody have a good day. And I love you.